You're going to take minutes I got from your email?
Yes.
Okay. So we will call the meeting to order. And the first thing I had on the agenda was approval of meeting minutes. However, I just realized that we had a little quick meeting back in whenever it was, and you weren't there. I took notes, but I forgot to type them up. So we're kind of in limbo here with that.
But when was the last time when was the last meeting? And
March, I think, wasn't it?
No, it's September
Yes, something
September.
like that.
Oh,
in
We
the
had it-
pavilion.
Right. We couldn't really,
September.
yeah. It was kind of a quick meeting we had or whatever. We met down in the pavilion just to kind of get together to see what was going on and everything.
well, I'm sure you guys already acknowledged that there's a pandemic and all that stuff.
Yep. Yep.
Really?
So anyway, with that, let's say that's out of the way. Let's just start kind of fresh if we can. Because we did, unless you want to approve the meeting minutes from the, when was it?
March, but I think we did approve the March minutes in September.
Yeah,
I think
we
we
did.
did. I remember trying to look at them on my phone.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. All right. So are we good?
Good.
All right. Public comments. And
Are there any comments? Is that what we're on the minutes from last meeting?
We don't have the minutes from the last meeting.
I know.
Well, I guess if somebody wants to join in on the meeting from the general public on this Zoom meeting, they can by going through the town's webinar. And if they have to ask, I guess, to join. Am I correct?
Yep, you're correct, but we don't have any attendees right now.
Okay, well, that's good. Then we can stop that one.
Nice short public comments.
Let's move right along. Election of officers.
Oh, that was public. Okay. I have the agenda. Now I know what we're doing. Okay. Election of officers.
Yes.
So Ted, are you willing to stay on as chair?
Are you willing to make me
Does
chair?
anybody else want to step up?
John told me he wanted to.
Look at Laura covering her face.
That's when we were out partying the other,
Yeah.
100 people in the crowd. and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the wrong John. I'm sorry.
Holly, how about you? You want to still be vice chair?
Unless somebody else wants to, I'm willing to be.
And I know Ann suggested that, sent me an email. She is willing to stay as secretary.
At least for the next year, yeah.
Okay. Well, no, this next 10 years.
No, my term is up next year, so
Well, we'll see.
That doesn't matter. So I nominate Ted as chairman.
I second that.
And I nominate Holly as vice chair.
I second that.
And I nominate Ann as a recording secretary.
Second that.
All right. Any other nominations? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Any opposed? If not, oh. Was it me?
Is that someone opposing?
Someone's
That was
dog.
my husband yelling at the dog. I think I need to go close the door. Hold on.
That's funny. At least he's not in his underwear.
Everybody heard you. Hey, by the way.
Okay, then.
Funny.
That was easy.
Yes.
Thank you, Holly and Ted, and for doing it another year. We very much appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We didn't have to do much this year, so I guess it's a do-over.
I guess it
Yeah, it
is,
was
right?
kind of a break, huh? Your hair
Well,
looks
thank you.
good,
All right. Chairman's report. There hasn't been a lot to report. Some of the other things I was going to get into farther down the list. So with that, we just jump right into sections reports. Volunteer coordinator.
I guess that's me, but I haven't been doing anything.
Okay, it's fine. Not a lot we can do right now.
No.
Buildings and grounds. I do have a couple things on that. The tree that is out by the well house, a big limb cracked off of it during one of the storms and landed on that well house that the scout made. I don't know if people noticed that. That has been taken away by the town. I don't know the status of what's going to happen with it at this point.
What's been taken away, the limb or the well house?
Both.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
okay.
Yes. The other thing, the large oak tree that is out by the outdoor classroom cracked. And it split during one of the windstorms. And half of that broke out. The town it's on schedule. I have not seen recently, but it's on schedule to be cleaned up and taken down, the entire tree.
Ted, I talked to Julie because she couldn't make the meeting tonight. And she asked me to ask if there was any possibility of doing something with some of the wood from that oak, because it was a kind of venerable tree at Bauer, and because it's oak, she didn't know if there was a possibility of making a bench or two or anything like that. So I told her I would bring it up.
That's
That would be a
good
really
idea.
nice idea.
But that was a beautiful tree.
Yeah, that was my favorite tree on the property. It's a shame.
I think that's a great idea. How do you go about doing something like that? I mean, I guess you have to decide what it's going to be first, right?
Who's probably slated to get that cut up? Islin?
I would imagine.
So can you reach out to Scott and have him talk to Charlie's guys about what feasibility for saving? I mean, even if we had, big chunks of it, we could figure out what to do, but as long as they don't take it all away.
Yeah, I'd like to see maybe some of it saved. I'll talk to Scott. Good idea.
We could make
Like the idea.
make another, sign, a couple of signs.
Oh,
Bauer
that's a good idea too.
out of that. So, I mean, if they could cut it up in maybe some 6 or 8 foot sections, and then we could, or the town could, we could get it to, a lumber mill. They could cut it up in maybe, 6 by 3 or 4 feet thick, and we could make some signs out of that. That sign out, the sign that that's out at the end of the driveway needs to be replaced.
Yeah. Okay.
That thing is in bad shape. So that'd be a good idea to do.
Yeah. Can we go back to the well for just a second?
Sure.
So I'm friends with the Fenner family.
Yep.
Harrison Fenner was the one who built the well. And they know I'm on this committee. So they were like, what's happening with the well? So I kind of feel obligated to get back to them. And I'm sure by now they notice that it's not there anymore. So is there any advice that I can give them about individuals to contact or, who, just to understand the future of the well?
That would probably be through Scott right now, and I will also talk to him. And if they want to call Scott,
Yeah.
as It might not be a bad idea either.
Yeah. Because it's not that old, you know what I mean? I mean, it
No,
was,
no.
No, it's not at all.
he was in beautiful shape. I mean, he's only, what, it's 5 years maybe that he built that ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a shame. It pretty much got crushed.
Yeah. So and at one point I'd even discussed, you know, does Garrison want to come out and fix it? But he was still, he was finishing up a 5th year at college out of state. And so he wasn't really around.
Yep.
But I don't know. It seems kind of like,
Yeah, no.
Does the town have insurance on something like that, since it was, you know, like an outbuilding or a shed? I mean, it was, I don't know what they have, but, and there was also, Garrison, he worked with a guy that helped him build that. So, you know, maybe if the town decides what they're gonna do, maybe we could contact him and have him rebuild it if Garrison doesn't want to do it.
No, I will talk to Scott about it. I know he is at another meeting tonight. That's why he's not here. So I will talk to him probably the end of the week or beginning of next week, and we'll see what we can come up with, and I'll shoot out an email or something.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think one way or another, we ought to replace it.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's really nice, so.
Yep, I agree. The other thing I have on buildings and grounds, the greenhouse took quite a hit this fall a couple times. I know I was down there once. I think it was after that hurricane or whatever we had. I replaced we had to get 3 new panels to put in. And in another windstorm a couple of weeks ago, I guess 2 more blew out. The door was also damaged or out of alignment. And some gentleman has repaired the door, and I've been in contact with him. Thanks for sending it through, Holly.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been in contact with him, and he's going to help me replacing the panels that are still missing. So, but I'm also wondering if we've had some problems with over the past couple of years with with damage and stuff from storms. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there if this is maybe getting the end of its life cycle or not. It's been there for 10, 12 years.
I know they do use it, so it would be a shame to, give up on it. And that guy who's reached out, it's David, right? That's his name?
David
Yeah, he's really helpful. He's done repair work on the sheds. Like, I would say the sheds are in worse shape than the greenhouse, actually. Doors won't stay closed, that sort of deal.
Yes. Yeah.
But, I don't know what the deal would be to do an assessment on the greenhouse and see if it needs just a little bit of upkeep or if it needs to be replaced. I don't know.
Well,
we definitely have one.
We'll that David and I are we'll meet sometime when it's warmer. We can't do anything now. Because of the silicone, you need a warm day to put the panels in with. But we are going to talk about what can be done with the greenhouse. So I was just putting it out there.
It'd be nice if it was something that if he wanted to take that on as his, garden hours, and he could probably find another gardener to help him, and that could be their task. It'd be good.
Okay.
I dog at least once a week at Bauer, and I always close the doors.
Yeah.
They're always open.
Yep.
I don't know why, but it seems to latch, which is weird. And then it's like all of a sudden it's like, and then I walk away and it seems secure, but then
It's the looseness and then the pressure with the open panels on top. It just shakes it.
Yep. And the other thing, it gets used at times that we're not really aware of by teenagers, I believe, that go in there. Or maybe they're not teenagers.
Yeah, there's plenty of people that aren't far afield. They're over at the fire pit. There's been a lot of activity there.
Has there?
Yeah, you can see. I mean, the thing's filled with beer cans out of
Again?
fire. Yeah.
Great. Darn kids. What's the matter with these kids today? Why don't they do what we do? We are perfect in every way.
Yeah, exactly.
Why aren't they? Sorry.
So you
Okay,
covered
anybody
everything basically that I had, Ted, for buildings and grounds, except that Scott also said, I believe that there's been money approved for the walkway between the high school and the back.
Oh, really?
But I don't know what that means moving forward. It's just that he's gone across one level for moving forward on that.
Okay. All right.
That's the walkway, because remember there were a lot of different plans for it, and he said it's the one that would be wide enough for an ATV to get through, but not an ambulance to get through.
Okay.
So.
All right. Anything else on buildings and grounds? If not, public relations and publicity.
Have that. But I want to float an idea by you guys. I know you've done this before through the Harvest Festival, but I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I'm actively looking for work. I could move any day. So I want to just bring it up. I don't know how involved I can get in it, but have you noticed on Facebook the beautiful pictures people are posting of our park? Unbelievable. And
Gorgeous.
they're gorgeous. And there's got to be some way, there's got to be a way to capture that, like by having some type of a contest or something like that. I don't know. Just thought I'd bring it up because it'd be nice to at least archive them so we have them, but I don't know.
Who took the pictures?
All different people on Facebook.
Yeah.
Will come up. Hey, there was a posting on Facebook, pictures taken at Bauer Park. Gorgeous. The barn, it's just, yeah.
There's one guy who does a lot of pictures around town and he sells the photos. A friend of mine gave me one as a gift. And a lot of his are the night scenes. So you see the sky and the stars. That's one of the things he really likes.
I'm trying to see.
I'm not sure his name. It's an Indian name, but his work is incredible.
And now, actually, these are just to been like moms or people out with their dogs, things like that. But I don't know.
And then they don't, even when we have the photo contest, nobody submits those, and
Right.
they could, especially we've got people in the park is one of the categories.
Right.
So.
I mean, do we have like some type of project that we could that we want to fund, that we could do through having like people submit them in a like friendly competition?
I don't know.
Nothing set up. You could organize something.
You knew you were going to say that. It has to be to organize anything. I was just floating the idea by everyone, something we could do.
I think that it's a great idea. I really do.
You see them all the time too, right, Laura?
All the time.
Because you're on the same feed as me.
Yeah.
If you see that, if you see one that's really good, can't you copy it and and put it in a digital folder or something, and then when we're able to get together, we could look at them and see if there's something we wanted to do with them.
What about so I have been taking a 2-year break from Facebook for my mental health. So I didn't even know the Bauer Facebook page. And Julie was saying that she hasn't been doing much with it, and she was wondering if anyone wanted to help her with it. I wonder if there's some way to capture them using the Bauer Facebook page.
That's interesting.
I don't know. I mean, I don't do Facebook, so
I'll do it.
Like
Uh,
on
you will?
Facebook.
good.
I've managed other Facebook pages. When I was on the board of the Historical Society, I did their Facebook page, and then like things totally increased. And then when I left, it just stopped.
Oh, good for you.
He took it over.
Well,
But
So that's publicity.
okay.
So Laura, you're going to work with Julie on the Facebook?
I guess so. I don't know. I mean,
Well, Julie really only does she uses it as the posting the classes and things.
but the classes and the education, right? At that-
Yeah, so we don't really do much outside of that posting wise on Facebook. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
even just trying to share some people's things, right? If you see something, you can share it. But we've got to get you on as admin.
Right.
Didn't Nicole start that, Holly?
Yeah.
Look,
So I'm one of the admins, but I don't really ever post on Facebook. But I should be able to, if I'm admin, shouldn't I be able to add you?
Yeah.
So maybe we can talk at some point and you can walk me through how I do that.
Right. You just would need my sign, my name and stuff.
Okay. Okay, well, we can do that as a sidebar sometime.
Yeah, I'm happy to.
Okay.
And then, at some point, I probably should understand like what we actually want to post on Facebook. because,
Yeah.
I mean, there were events that I would talk about, or I would do, at the MHS, I would do like, interesting things from our collection, articles that we might want to share about Madison history, things like that. But with the park, it seems more just like, general public engagement
Right.
stuff and just kind of like promoting the beauty of the place.
We always promoted, so Julie tries to get the classes on and the camps
Yeah.
on. And then
Yeah.
I used to post the garden volunteer time and open it up to the public. It's not just volunteer, gardeners having to do their work project. If anybody else wanted to come, that's one reason we put it on.
So as we're approaching spring, we will probably want to talk about, registering for garden plots and things like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's actually a good thing to even put on a Madison. If you guys are using the Madison thing saying, hey, garden plots available. Did you know there's a community garden at Bauer?
Well, if it starts like April 1st, right? I mean, so like that's
new gardeners can start signing.
that's like 2 months away.
Yeah. That's
Hope. It doesn't feel like it's going to be spring yet.
so okay. So Lauren, just let me know. And do you know have you ever set up an admin person?
I have.
Okay. So maybe if you want to look at it, see if you know, like, if it's the same. I haven't really even looked at that stuff in like 3 years. So I'll try and look into it too and see if I'm at that level that I can, or if there's different levels of admin.
Yeah, because I'm admin on another page with my reenacting group.
Okay.
So I'm happy to just refresh my memory on how to do that.
Okay. And then reach out to me and we can figure it out.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Thanks.
All right.
So Laura, why don't we put a call out to people to send us photographs or something like that, or
Well, I could certainly say, if when you're at Bauer Park, share them, you can share them on this page. But the thing is that like, yeah, I think we could do that. Because but it's not a community page. It's different than like the Madison, Connecticut page or the.
Right. No, I was saying like, just, I don't know.
I think a fundraising effort to pay for the, an October Harvest Festival would be great. Using graphs. We could certainly come up with something like that. We should talk with was fixed.
attached to that. Okay.
All right. That it?
That's not my, yeah, that's not my section.
Is that Ruth Ann? That's it?
I got the dog park out of there, you guys. Well,
All right.
no, actually, is there a new person here tonight? I think there's supposed to be, I think I referred someone to here tonight. A new member of our advisory board.
I haven't heard anything.
You haven't?
No.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'll talk a little bit about the Harvest Festival when we come up to that, and maybe we can talk, something with the pictures in that also. All right.
Yep.
Gardens report.
So we're reviewing the rules. Barbara worked on them, and I'm going to look at them this weekend, and then they're going to send out the applications in February. So we'll have we'll move forward with the volunteer weekends as usual. Those actually worked out okay during the pandemic because people could space out and I shouldn't say space out. They could work with space between them. Some people probably did space out too, but that did go forward. The gardens got cleaned up weird this year. So I had a lot going on after Thanksgiving and didn't go out and clean up the plots. My stepmom passed away on the 30th. And so it was like the end, and I wasn't gonna spend my weekend cleaning up the plots. And so then when I finally was getting ready to send out an email to get people to come help clean up the plots that hadn't been cleaned up, suddenly I realized they'd rototilled half the garden. So we had given up on fall rototilling, but it's all rototilled right now, except for maybe 5 plots that the town guys didn't clean up. So it's kind of weird, but I had taken all the photos, so I know who didn't clean up the plots, and we'll have that on the list. But I'm hoping that they're not going to say in the spring, well, the plots were already rototilled, because that's the important rototilling. The gardeners can't really get in there if the ground's been frozen and is too compressed. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But they look really nice right now.
Okay. And I understand some of the fencing has been around the gardens has been replaced and repaired.
Yep. Where they drove through, when they were doing the donuts and stuff, that's all been fixed in the backside, and I think some of the other ones too.
Okay. Anything else under gardens?
I don't think so. The apple trees look nice and seem to be surviving that the garden club planted
Okay.
last year. They
Did you-
seem to be doing well, so that's a good thing.
Okay. Good.
That's it.
Can I
educate-
mention something? When I was there in the fall, there were garden club members who were working and cleaning up that the teaching garden.
Mhm.
They put in a request to clear the brush on the east side fence, like on the other side of the east side fence of the teaching garden. And I think I emailed that to this like collective group at some point, just like when I heard right when they asked for that. But I noticed that all of that brush is still there. So I think that we should resubmit that request for the spring to Scott and his group, because I think that it would really help. So it would maintain the integrity of the fence. They also had said that there were some pieces of the fence that were broken on that road
Outside.
where vermin, I don't know, like groundhogs or somebody were getting into the garden because the fence had been broken, like some of the slatting had been broken. And so I just wanted to kind of like re-share their request.
Okay, so usually the fence repairs, I think around that usually got taken care of by the farming project group. not the town, right? It's Ted.
Right, yeah, yes.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
Yes.
I,
Just
did
like-
not,
just
I
like a-
didn't really know.
yeah,
I
just
just
like
said,
a
hey, I'll forward
community
on your.
gardener. And they probably don't know either, but that would be under Sue would organize getting whoever, whatever she needs to fix it and get the volunteers to help her. And she could always reach out to us to see if there's a gardener that wanted to help. But that's not usually a town task.
Right. And where is the brush is still there?
So, all along the east side row, like the long vertical row of the fencing, it's on the other side of the garden.
So in other words, the top of the
backside of the
slope going down
top
to
of
the
the
pond.
Exactly, the top of the slope.
They need a walkway. Like a cleared walkway. So
Got
And it's growing up against the fence, and it was growing through the fence.
yeah.
So it was like that whole strip.
It would be nice to even get that slope kind of cleared out from underneath, even if they keep some of the taller growing shrubs or trees there. But to get it cleaned up, there's a lot of vine, I think, that's getting in there, and it's kind of nasty.
Okay. Okay. One other thing about the gardens, we had somebody contacted me from town. She had about a dozen bales of straw that she had used for a Christmas display. She donated it to Bauer. A friend of hers wants a couple of the bales for his garden, but the rest of them she wanted to donate to the environmental gardens up there. So the straw, we put it in the lean-to portion of the barn. So because it has a stone floor and the straw was a little damp, I didn't want to get it into the barn itself. So that is there for that purpose.
Did you let Sue know?
I have not. I will send her an email tomorrow. That was going to be my question is, do we know she's still involved in the?
I don't know for sure, but I don't think there's a replacement if there is, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll email her and see what the response is. Okay. Educational report.
So I talked to Julie sent me some stuff. There's not a ton going on right now because of COVID. She said in the fall that she did teach the outdoor after school programs that went pretty well until November when it got too dark, too early to do those. And she's planning to resume in the spring. I think all she's doing in the winter is a once a week class for homeschoolers. And then she said they're hoping to be up to full programming for the summer if everything goes well. And then in the fall to resume programs with through the schools again. There's been nothing through the schools this year. So I think that's about it.
Okay. I have on the agenda the garden club, and I don't have a contact form. Holly, would you have?
Yeah, I can send you the contact information.
Could you send me an email with it, and I can
Yep.
keep them involved?
Yep.
Because I know that they've been really doing things and helping out.
Oh yeah, that's one of the things with I should have said with the buildings and grounds. They actually did a huge daffodil planting all along the east side of Cops Road.
I was
So
going to ask if they did that. That's so great.
yeah,
Yeah.
so, and Barbara Yeager added some too. She wanted to donate, so I hooked them up, and she did a section right across from the barn, and then they went further down the road. So come springtime, we should have a lot of daffodils on that section of the road.
Down along the stone wall.
Yeah.
And up on Daffodil Hill.
Yeah, I think they did add some up there too.
They added some up there, yes.
Great.
Good. Okay. Is there any old business? If not, Harvest Festival. Of course, we don't really know if we're going to have one this year or not. I think Pam Green sent me an email. She had another meeting tonight too. However, she usually does the fundraising, and I don't think we can make a decision yet. I don't know what the feeling of everybody else is. But right now, I don't see how we can do it. And I don't even know, because I know under the town guidance, you can't have any meetings or anything in person, anything that involves town organizations, committees, etc. Yeah, it has to be through Zoom and stuff. So I don't know how that would even fall with the town.
You can't, I'm sorry, say that again. You can't have any meetings.
You're not supposed to have any meetings in person. Let me put it that way. In other words, like when we had that meeting in September at the pavilion, because it was outside, it was okay, you know, we could do it, but you can't do anything like that inside. So I don't know how anything would fall with even having a harvest festival.
But you can have an outside meeting.
Not really. I don't know. I don't really understand how they're looking at it right now.
So I don't think we really need to make a decision until March. We've gotten started with the festival with really late March as our starting point, and
Right.
pulled it off. So
No, we don't have to make.
What's that?
Go ahead. I was going to say we don't have to make a decision. I'm just saying that I think we have to think about it, and that's where like with pictures and things like that, it would be nice if we did have the harvest festival. We can maybe really push on that. If we do,
It's hard to imagine that the world will be at a place where we can have the festival, but it would be nice to think that we could maybe do something. So
I think that we could do something. I mean, look at what they did this summer on the green every Sunday. They still had concerts. They still had, little people, little kids dressing up in costume parades. I mean, they still did some things like that last fall.
Right. It might be, I guess.
Reimagined, even if it was a reimagined festival.
I guess that's what I was saying is I don't think we could have a festival like we have had previously, where so many
There's like
people,
shared touching things and
exactly
together
right.
and like things.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Right.
But we could be in a completely different place come October if things really push with vaccines and roll out through the summer. And I've got fingers crossed that next year's school year is going to look fairly normal. But I'm the pessimist that's actually being optimistic. It's kind of
I know that's really I'm impressed actually, Holly.
So. Oh, I can't believe that there's actually a vaccine right now. I didn't think there would be until like next summer or fall. So that's where my optimism is coming from.
Yep. Okay. House update. I have not heard anything. The last I had heard was that there is something in the works to do it, but I have not heard anything more. But I guess things are really slow in getting things done with this virus. So I will see if I can find out more about that.
Did that Eagle Scout ever do that tool?
Yes, he did things, and then he did some nice work in reviewing the things, looking things up, coming up with labels. He put stuff in the barn. However, I know a couple times I'd asked him to contact John because I was going through some difficult times, and I don't know if he ever did. But he did do some things there, and it could be expanded on very easily.
No, I never heard from him.
Yeah.
John, where are you? Are you outside?
Sort of.
Are you in Maine or something like that? Are you in Connecticut?
I'm in my cave.
All right. Is there any other new business or any other business?
So the only other thing I have is just to let you all know, they reached out to me to join the Bauer Charitable Trust. And so Bob Kukta and I are the two new people joining that trust. So,
Wonderful.
yeah.
What is
That's-
So the grants come in, the applications come in now in the spring. So I was,
Really?
kind of nervous about joining because I'm not sure about my time in the spring, obviously
Yeah.
with my job. So I'm going to give it a go, and because I thought it would be worthwhile having somebody on the committee on the trust.
Great.
That's great, Holly.
I don't know.
Let's
That's
put it-
good news.
Holly, who
Congratulations.
else? You and who else? I'm sorry, I missed that.
Bob Kukta was
Okay.
also asked to join. So of course he is being someone who's been involved with Bauer since the get-go.
I don't explain, I don't understand the difference. What is?
Okay, when the Bauer brothers, they gave the property and the houses to the town,
Uh-huh.
but they also they put their funds, if you will, aside in a separate trust. It is not managed by the town. It is, the town is involved with it, but is not managed by the town. It is through the bank or a bank. And I believe the first select person sits on that committee. There were several other people. I'm not sure who now. And now I guess they're reaching out to Bob and Holly. But anyway, that every year they give out grant money, and you have to apply for the grant. And it does not necessarily go to Bauer, and it can only be used for certain things. But nonprofit organizations apply for it.
Really?
Yes, but you have to have a good reason. That's where the funds come from to pay Julie for the environmental class.
Oh, okay, now I get that.
Yes.
So the concern had been that when the Patronis who were on the board stepped down and it moved into the bank scenario, we were concerned that there wouldn't be local people. So I was really happy to hear that they were really trying to get local people on the board, and especially people who had knowledge of the park and also the Bauers.
I feel like that's a really positive sign that they
Yes.
Yeah.
And
During
the attorney,
that transition, didn't they also reduce the amount of charitable gifts that they distributed every year?
yes, and some of that was because I think, and I'm not sure, don't quote me on this, but there was definitely some issue with maybe principal had been going away,
The
so
investments
that
needed
some
to.
of the money
grow.
was starting to shrink. But
Right.
the,
I guess the principal was being pulled down quite a bit.
yeah. And then, so the attorney that they're using, that's how I ended up getting tapped, is Tim Crowley, who used to live across the street and is still in town. So it's good to hear that it's staying a little bit more in town, because we were at the time, I think last year, weren't we hearing a year and a half ago that it was a group in North Carolina or something?
Someplace like that. It was through, because of one bank, they sell their assets or whatever and things and have gone wherever. And we'd only received half the grant at one point that was applied for.
Yep.
So it's a nationwide,
No.
no?
It's
No,
not
it's just for
nationwide.
Madison.
Just for Madison, oh, okay,
Right.
oh.
Madison-
Family Foundation, okay, got it.
So
That was
this
it.
one, I think there's two different ones. This one's the Irwin Bauer Charitable Trust. And then I think Anthony the brother had something different. And I don't know how that works, but that one's slightly different. It might have been set up for a specific.
Yeah, I don't know. But I know like one year we had applied we had talked about applying for the barn before the barn was repaired. And the trust came back and said, no, it is not to be used for buildings, such as repairing buildings. So there's some strict guidelines, but Holly will explain it all.
Yes.
All right. Is there any other business? If not,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
okay, we have a motion.
I
Second,
second.
Oh, me.